1635, Shetland Journal published a trip by sea to visit Scotland, Iceland, and the Faroe Islands. Between 1635 and 1640, a steam navigation company was born, which later became known as P&O and the famous Conrad Line. 1912, with the collapse of the Titanic, people began to be afraid of large ships. In 1967, the shipping companies had to look for a new utility for their ships, so many ships were adapted to be cruise ships. 1969, they began to build cruise ships with all kinds of luxuries to attract the population. In 1970, with the appearance of jet planes, everything changed completely. Cheaper flights were offered than transatlantic cruises and trips shorter than boats. 2000, the golden age of large and luxurious cruise ships. Cruise became the most sought after of population. A ferry, Spanishized as ferry or ferry, is a boat that connects two points carrying passengers and sometimes vehicles, usually at scheduled times. They are part of a public transport in some cities located on a coast, with bays, large lakes or rivers, allowing direct traffic between two points, and its cost is much lower than the construction of bridges and tunnels. In some regions, the word ferry is used for the ship that joins short distance to banks of a river, for example, while ferry is called a vessel that covers longer routes and is also larger. Its design depends on the distance to cover, the capacity and speed required, as well as the water conditions. High-speed passage ship, more popularly known as fast ferries. Their main characteristic is to reach high cruising speeds greater than 25 knots, 46 kilometers. The hydrofoils are a practical, fast, and relatively inexpensive solution in the Canary Islands, although its replacement by high-speed car ferries is considered by some critics as a step back, since they consume much more fuel and encourage the inappropriate use of cars in the islands, which already suffer from the impact of mass tourism. Despite this, they stopped providing service some years ago, being replaced by catamaran fleets and the other high-speed boats, thus improving communication at lower cost and performing more services in less time. Catamaran. A catamaran is a two-hull vessel normally associated with high-speed vessels, which make this type of vessel suitable to act as fast ferries, although there are also sailing or military ferries. Stena Line operates with the largest catamarans in the world, within the United Kingdom and Scandinavia. They can displace 19,638 tons and transport about 1,500 passengers. Drawbacks. They are the great conventional ferries named for their capacity to carry rural cargo, both cars and trucks or large trailers. Railway ferry. A rail ferry transports freight and passenger rail vehicles using a deck with rails and special ramps for loading and unloading. Cable ferry. For very short distances, the ferry is propelled and directed by one or more cables that are fixed on boat banks, although it is sometimes directed by personnel from the boat. This presentation was brought to you thanks to Diego Vizcarra, Mónica Aragón y Alejandro Jauregui.